Welcome back to UK Political Insight, where today we're diving into a Good Morning Britain appearance so catastrophic it made the Titanic's maiden voyage look like a casual day trip to Skegness. Jackie Smith, Labour's Minister for Skills, stepped into the GMB studio thinking she'd have a nice chat about government policy and instead got absolutely demolished by viewers who were about as impressed with her answers as the public was with Liz Truss's mini-budget. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. We're talking evasive answers, fury on social media, and the kind of political car crash that makes you grab the popcorn and cancel your morning plans. So stick around, because this is the kind of chaos that reminds us why British politics is simultaneously the most frustrating and entertaining thing on the planet. But before we proceed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates on this channel. Thank you. Let's set the scene. Richard Madeley and Susanna Reid are in the studio, probably thinking this is going to be just another Monday morning grilling of a government minister. Standard fare, right? Wrong. Earlier in the show, they'd spoken to Don Daniels, the now famous bricklayer who went viral for calling out people who claim benefits instead of working. Don's message was pretty clear. He works hard, pays his taxes, and he's absolutely fed up with feeling like he's bankrolling people who figured out the benefits system pays better than an actual job. And honestly, you can't blame the bloke. Imagine grafting 40 hours a week dealing with dodgy weather, sore muscles, and clients who complain about every invoice, only to find out some people are sitting at home earning roughly the same amount for doing absolutely nothing. It's enough to make anyone want to throw their trowel at the television. So when Jackie Smith rocks up to discuss Labour's policies, particularly around Rachel Reeves' autumn budget and the whole making work pay thing, the stakes are already high. Susanna Reid, being the consummate professional, lobs what should be an easy question at Smith. She basically says, look, this bloke voted for you because you promised not to raise taxes on working people and you promised to make work pay. He feels lied to. What do you say to him? Simple question, straightforward, should be an easy win for a seasoned politician. But here's where things go sideways faster than a shopping trolley with a wonky wheel. Instead of addressing Don's actual concern, which is that he feels betrayed by broken promises and annoyed that his taxes are funding people who won't work, Jackie Smith pivots, and I mean pivots so hard she nearly pulled a hamstring. She says she can imagine Don is concerned about getting skilled labor for his business. She reckons he probably thinks there should be better support for the construction industry. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like she's answering a completely different question. It's like someone asking you why their coffee's cold and you responding by explaining the history of coffee beans in Colombia. Technically related, but utterly useless in the moment. Don didn't ask about skilled labor shortages. He didn't ask about construction industry support. He asked why his taxes are going up when you promised they wouldn't, and why people on benefits seem to have it better than people who actually work. Richard Madeley, bless him, is not having it. He comes back at her with the kind of energy that suggests he's been waiting his entire career for this moment. He explains that it's difficult to underestimate the personal affront Don feels when he sees his hard-earned money supporting people who shouldn't be on benefits. Richard specifically mentions the slackers, the people who won't take jobs unless they're paid cash in hand because official employment would mess with their benefits claims. And this is the crux of the issue. Don's not raging against people who genuinely need help. He's angry at the people who've turned benefit fraud into a side hustle. The ones who figured out that if you play the system right, you can coast along without ever contributing. And for someone like Don, who probably starts work before most of us have hit snooze for the third time, that's insulting. Richard also hammers home the point that Don, a Labour voter, says he'll never vote Labour again because he feels lied to. The manifesto promised no tax rises on working people. The budget raised taxes. Simple math, really. 2 + 2 = 4, and broken promise plus angry voter equals political disaster. You'd think this would be Jackie Smith's moment to pivot back, acknowledge the concern, maybe throw in a bit of empathy and a concrete plan to address the issue. But no. Instead, she says she's sorry about that. Sorry about that. Not sorry we broke our promise, not sorry we've let you down, just a vague, non-committal sorry about that, like she's apologizing for stepping on your toe in a crowded train carriage. And then she offers to speak to Don about Labour's efforts to support the construction industry and get young people into work, which again is not what he asked about. It's like going to the doctor with a broken leg and being handed a leaflet about healthy eating.
Now here's where the fun really begins. The viewers at home are watching this train wreck unfold in real time, and they are not impressed. Social media absolutely explodes. And I mean explodes in the way that only British social media can, with the perfect mix of rage, sarcasm, and the kind of brutal honesty that makes you wince. The comments start flooding in, and they are savage. One viewer writes that it's simple, really. Just make sure hard graft is rewarded instead of turning the taps on for those who want a free ride. Fair point. Everyone deserves fair pay for honest work. It's not a revolutionary concept, it's literally the foundation of a functioning society. Work hard, get paid, contribute to society, rinse and repeat. But somewhere along the line, that social contract got torn up, and now we've got a system where it sometimes makes more financial sense to stay home than to clock in. Another viewer is absolutely fuming, and rightfully so. They've got two sons, aged 19 and 21, both unemployed, not because they're lazy, but because they can't find apprenticeships after spending 3 years in college. They can't even get normal jobs. These are kids who are desperate to work, who want to contribute, who want to start building their futures, and the system has completely failed them. And this viewer's question is spot on. Why only help unemployed kids after 18 months on universal credit? Why make them wait a year and a half before getting proper support? If Labor's so keen on making work pay and getting young people into employment, why are there barriers and waiting periods? It's like telling someone drowning that you'll throw them a life jacket in 18 months. Bit late by then, isn't it? Then you've got viewers pointing out the obvious. Jackie Smith failed to answer the question because she knows her party made people pay for more benefits and lied about their manifesto promises. Another duplicitous politician, they say. And honestly, can you blame people for being cynical? We've been let down so many times by politicians from all sides that trust is basically extinct. It's like Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown, except instead of a football, it's electoral promises, and instead of Charlie Brown, it's the entire British public lying flat on our backs, wondering why we fell for it again. One comment that really sums up the mood says, Labour will never be trusted again because they lied their way into power. Harsh? Maybe. Accurate? Increasingly looking that way. Labour came in with a massive mandate, huge expectations, and a promise to be different from the Tories. They were supposed to be the party of working people, the ones who'd finally fix the mess. But here we are, months into their government, and working people like Dawn feel more betrayed than ever. Taxes have gone up despite promises they wouldn't. The benefit system still rewards inactivity over hard work. And when voters raise these concerns, they get politicians like Jackie Smith offering to have a chat about construction industry support. It's the political equivalent of being told to try turning it off and on again when your entire computer has exploded. But let's dig a little deeper into why this appearance sparked such outrage, because it's not just about one politician giving bad answers on breakfast television. It's symptomatic of a much bigger problem. Politicians have become masters of the non-answer. They've been trained to deflect, pivot, and waffle their way through interviews without actually saying anything of substance. It's like watching someone try to nail jelly to a wall. You know what you want them to do, you can see them making the effort, but ultimately nothing sticks, and you're left feeling frustrated and slightly nauseous. Jackie Smith's responses are a masterclass in this technique. She heard the question, acknowledged it existed, and then elegantly sidestepped it like a matador avoiding a bull. And voters are sick of it. We're not stupid. We can tell when we're being fobbed off with political jargon and carefully crafted talking points. We want actual answers. We want politicians to say, yes, we promised not to raise taxes and we did raise them, and here's why, and here's what we're doing to make it worth it. We want honesty. We want accountability. Instead, we get sorry about that and offers to discuss something completely different. It's patronizing, it's insulting, and it's exactly why trust in politicians is at an all-time low. The Don Daniels situation is particularly interesting because he represents a huge chunk of voters who feel abandoned by both major parties. He voted Labour hoping for change. He believed the promises. He thought this time would be different. And now he's sitting there feeling like a mug because the promises were broken before the ink dried on the ballot papers. And when he raises his concerns, he's getting brushed off by a minister who seems more interested in talking about construction industry support than addressing the actual betrayal he feels. It's like complaining that your meal is cold and the waiter brings you a dessert menu. Sure, it's related to food, but it's not solving your problem. What's especially damaging for Labour is that these aren't just random trolls on social media. These are real voters with real concerns. The parents of unemployed young people who did everything right, went to college, tried to get apprenticeships, and still can't find work. The self-employed workers who pay their taxes, follow the rules, and feel like they're being punished for it. These are the people labor is supposed to represent. These are the working people they claim to champion. And when those people feel ignored, dismissed, and lied to, that's when you lose elections. Not in 5 years, not in the next cycle. You lose them right now, in moments like this when a minister on breakfast television can't even be bothered to properly address their concerns. The really tragic part is that this was entirely avoidable. Jackie Smith could have acknowledged Don's frustration, validated his feelings, explained the difficult choices the government faces, and laid out a concrete plan to ensure work pays better than benefits. She could have been honest about the challenges, transparent about the mistakes, and convincing about the solutions. Instead, she did what politicians do best. She avoided, deflected, and offered meaningless platitudes, and in doing so, she confirmed everything people like Don already suspected, that politicians don't care, don't listen, and will say whatever they think sounds good without actually meaning any of it. The social media reaction tells you everything you need to know about where we are politically right now. People are angry, they're frustrated, and they're done with being taken for granted. They're done with broken promises,
evasive answers, and politicians who seem to inhabit a completely different reality from the rest of us. When a minister can't even answer a straightforward question about broken tax promises without pivoting to construction industry support, that's not just bad politics. That's a fundamental disconnect between those in power and those they're supposed to serve. So what happens now? Well, Labor's got a serious trust problem, and trust, once lost, is incredibly hard to rebuild. You can't just promise to do better next time, you actually have to do better. You have to show working people that their hard work is valued, that their taxes are being spent wisely, and that the system isn't rigged against them. You have to reform the benefit system so it helps those who need it without rewarding those who abuse it. You have to make apprenticeships and job opportunities available for young people who are desperate to work. And you have to be honest when you make mistakes, rather than deflecting and offering to discuss something else entirely. If you've stuck with me this far, you're a legend, and I genuinely appreciate it. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. Was Jackie Smith's response as bad as viewers thought, or was she just caught in an impossible situation? Should Labor be doing more to address concerns about the benefit system, or are voters being unfair? And don't forget to subscribe because we're dropping multiple videos every single day. And with the way British politics is going right now, there's always something kicking off. Until next time, this has been UK Political Insight, reminding you that watching politicians dodge questions is almost as entertaining as watching them actually answer them. Almost.